The first step in recaulking your tub or shower is to remove the caulk, and I prefer a nice solid thick caulk removing tool like this, and you just dig it into the corner, and you're going to be able to pull away most of the caulk pretty efficiently. And then I'm going to come back with just a plastic flat scraper, and it's going to take a little time. It might even take 10-15 minutes to really work out all this remaining caulk. And then the next step, we're going to clean up the area. We're going to also attack, if you have any mold or mildew built up, we need to attack it before we put down the caulk, because this will bleed through your new layer of caulk if you don't remove it. A couple nice features with this type of tool is you have a hook where you can drag it, and in this corner there was a little different type of caulk here, and so I really had to grab at that corner to pull it out. And there's also one side that's designed to be pushed, so it allows you to really get in there where there's caulk that's difficult to remove with just the basic front edge of this. And now I'm going to follow up and just keep scraping all this away with the plastic scraper, and I'm trying to do most of this without using anything more aggressive like a flat razor, because I just don't want to do any damage to the tile or the tub. I scraped most of the caulk out, and now I'm going to go after the mold and mildew here. And what I'm going to use is I'm going to mix 1 cup of bleach with 10 cups of water, and I'm going to work it in here with a sponge. Make sure that you wear rubber gloves, and if you're using bleach, make sure you don't use any other cleaners. If you were to use ammonia with this, it actually produces a very deadly gas. So if you're going to use bleach, only use bleach, rinse it thoroughly when you're done, and that's going to kill the mold and mildew on hard surfaces. You can also use ammonia, but then again, if you use ammonia, only use ammonia and then rinse it clean. So now I'll go after all of this because we don't want this mold bleeding through the new caulk. Now that the bleach has cleaned off all the mold and mildew, we're going to put in our tub and tile caulk. And I left in place some of the grout that was here. It's solid. If you needed to remove any of this, actually you'd need to be a little aggressive using a slotted screwdriver and being very careful not to scratch the tub or the tiles. You can work your way into the corner and break loose any of the grout. But in this case, this is all solid. It looks good. We're going to put a small bead of tub caulk here, and then we'll go into the corners. And the same technique we'll use all the way around the tub. To open the tube of caulk, I'm just going to take some diagonal pliers and cut a small hole in the end, and at an angle it usually works better because we can force it into the corner of the tub and the tile here. And I'm going to start in the corner and just work my way across. We can always add more caulk, so we'll just start here and squeeze it out. And you also could take painter's tape and put it on both edges against the tub and against the tile, and then pull it away and smooth it with your finger. And for this, all we have to do is just take our finger and pull across, and you can see that we're actually pulling kind of wide, and we'll just wipe off the excess with a paper towel, and then just taking our finger, we're going to wipe the excess off a couple times. And we can even take paper towel and wipe off the excess, and then just pull back across it, and we're going to be able to make a perfect bead just by going back and forth. And what's nice about working with a tub and tile caulk is it gives you plenty of time to work the material. If we were using 100% silicone, it'd be very difficult, it'd be very sticky. So with this, we're just going to pull it a couple times with our finger. I'm actually going to remove a little bit more of this with the paper towel, and then we can just pull it smooth. On the front edge of the tub, we've got a little larger opening, so again, we're just going to start from a corner, and we're going to go a little slower so that we're forcing caulk into that opening, and just kind of slow down. I've got an air bubble there, so just come back. And because it's easy to work with this type of tub and tile caulk, you've got a little bit of time, and here's a kind of a big opening here, so we'll just apply a little extra. And then again, starting in the corner, I'm just going to pull it up and press it lightly and pull it around. And now as we move it into this other caulk that we just applied, we have to be a little conscious of not letting this dry too long. If it starts to get a little dry and a little sticky, then we can always get a little moisture on our finger and smooth it together. But again, the beauty of working with a tub and tile is you have a little bit of time, and it's very easy to blend it in with the old material. So I'm just going to pull that back and forth a couple times. We'll smooth this up. Now here you can see it's pulling a little bit because it's starting to dry, and we can just add a little bit more and blend it in like that, and we can pull it back across. So now we'll work on the corners, and we'll again start from the top and come from the top to the bottom and from the bottom up. Alright, so here again I'm going to start in one corner, and I'm going to just apply a small bead straight down, and rather than continuing all the way to the end, I'm going to stop and I'm going to start from this corner and work my way up. And this is the same way I'm going to use my finger to smooth this, because if I were to pull down all the way down, I would have such an excess of the caulk on my finger that we'd have a huge ball at the end of this. So I'll start from the top and lightly pull it down, and then I'm going to stop about halfway, and then I'll start from the other corner and then work my way up into it. And as long as you're constantly moving into wet caulk, and now where these both met, I can just kind of go back over with a very light motion with my finger, and you can see it ends up beautiful, very easy to do. Again, if you're uncomfortable, you can put painter's tape on both sides, pull it away after you've applied the caulk, and then there's going to be a little edge to that. Once you pull your tape away, you can use your finger. But in most cases, with a little bit of practice, you can do a very nice job, very simple to do, and it's easy for any application, whether it's a tub or a shower.